Now, see, in the past, we would look at a clip like this and be like, oh, cool, the Cowboys getting chippy at practice. But then nothing would actually come of this. Nobody would get punished. There would be no discipline employed. And thus, we would end up seeing the Cowboys go on to be one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. Not the case with head coach Brian Schottenheimer. After them boys had yet another skirmish in a practice full of skirmishes, Shotty said enough is enough. My guy had to end practice early, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Schottenheimer is legitimately here to change the Dallas Cowboys culture. The Cowboys had another practice skirmish today, and this time, head coach Brian Schottenheimer didn't just yell at the players. He took some action, and this right here is absolutely conversation worthy because this is the type of thing this team, this organization, and these players have been missing for years. Let's get right into it so we can get to all the details of what happened today at practice in a day where they were only wearing shells and didn't go full pads. What happened? Why did Shotty have to go off yet again? Be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content just like this. Shut your up. You can see here, Joseph Hoyt said practice was getting chippy again. So Brian Schottenheimer stopped practice, pulled them into a huddle, and told them to get on the line. They're now running as punishment. So Brian Schottenheimer is taking this thing all the way back to high school days. He's making these boys run lines. He's making these boys run gassers. And he's enacting good old school punishment on these players. And what's one way you can keep the team disciplined? What's one way that you can have a trickle-down effect to where not only you as a coach are enforcing discipline on your players, but how do you have your players keep their teammates accountable? By punishing the entire team, y'all. I don't think I've ever seen Mike McCarthy do anything like this, and I damn sure haven't seen Mike McCarthy actually kick a player out of practice. If he has, maybe I just forgot because I've slept too many times since then. But the Brian Schottenheimer kicked rookie offensive tackle Johnny Cornelius out of practice after this scuffle right here. All right, so we can kind of see right here. Can't really see exactly what's happening right here, but you can see kind of a mosh pit right here. And Johnny got kicked out of practice for whatever took place in the midst of this group right here, right? This right here, man, this is how you fix the Dallas Cowboys being one of the most penalized teams in the entire National Football League. See, what I don't want Cowboy fans to do is I don't want y'all to take these moments where something necessarily kind of negative is happening to the team, and I don't want y'all to run with the negative perspective of how that's going to impact the team. This right here, this is positive. This is exactly what you want to see from your head coach. This is exactly how you fix one of the biggest issues that's been plaguing this organization for a very long time. Todd Archer of ESPN actually asked CeeDee Lamb about this situation. He tweeted, Wednesday's practice was cut short after one early ejection and a number of skirmishes that led Brian Schottenheimer to force the players to run a series of sprints. What was the coach's message to the team? CeeDee Lamb had this to say. He said, quote, do we want to be champions? Because throughout the years of us being here, talent was never the problem for us. It was always discipline. How do we get ahead and not behind? How do we not shoot ourselves in the foot? How do we not hurt ourselves? Honestly, when that momentum is going our way, we need to continue to keep the foot on the pedal and make the right play and always think about the team. Brian Schottenheimer is approaching head on one of, if not the biggest issue that has prevented the Cowboys from being successful, whether it be against the LA Rams or St. Louis Rams, whatever the hell they were called at the time, where we seen, what was that, our defensive end, was it Randy Gregory or somebody like that? We seen Randy Gregory get a defensive holding call on a run play that they actually stuffed, but then you gave the other team an automatic first down, and that ends up being the nail in the coffin. Whether you see a team getting untimely penalties as giving other teams more possessions or favorable field position or flipping the field position. Whether you see little situations that the Cowboys just have that lapse of focus, that lapse of mental focus, Brian Schottenheimer's approaching that head on. Absolutely love this, bro. This right here is exactly what you want to see from a head coach. And as much as I saw Clarence Hill yesterday praising Ben Johnson for changing the culture in Chicago, I should be seeing just as much praise for Brian Schottenheimer for being willing to do this in the environment of the Cowboys, because that's the other thing. For any head coach to do something like this, it takes some courage. It takes some balls, because you know it's going to get a ton of media attention. You know you're going to have to answer questions about it. And Shotty's not coaching scared. That was the one thing that everyone was afraid of as it pertains to who was Jerry Jones going to hire as the next head coach of this team. They didn't want a yes man. They didn't want somebody that was just going to let the inmates run the prison. Shotty ain't letting inmates run a damn thing, bro. Shotty is the warden, and he is 100% putting guys on lockdown when they have bad behavior. And that's exactly what you need to see. Now, obviously, I really like a Johnny Cornelius. I think that he's going to be a stud. He was practicing with the second-team offense today in the wake of Hakeem Adenji's injury. So I think he's going to be a good right tackle. He's a good prospect for the Cowboys to develop. But you want to make it very clear to these guys, and that's why it was important what they did with Diggs. It's not even about Diggs. It's about trying to change the culture of the organization. And when we're doing things to change that culture, we as a fan base cannot be resistant to that. So them setting that tone with one of their best players, one of their biggest players in Trevon Diggs, and letting them know, like, hey, man, it's unacceptable that if you're going to be a leader on this team, you have to be here. You have to be present. Guys have to see the work that you're putting in. You have to do the things the organization needs you to do. That right there is inputting structure. It's inputting culture, regardless of how you feel about whether or not he could have done better with his own trainers. Whatever. That's not the point. The point is allow this organization to gain control, because that's what we've wanted them to have for a very long time. It's to gain control. Instead, we've been sitting here talking about stories with guys tapping on glass when they're working out and all these fake culture issues. These are the real culture issues. When the team needs to make it clear to a player, you're not bigger than the organization. That's a real culture issue. When your coach has to make it clear to his players, I won't tolerate being undisciplined. That's how you fix and correct culture issues. So Brian Schottenheimer, big salute to you, my guy. Absolutely love to see this type of thing, and Cowboys fans should love to see this as well. Now, as it pertains to any other things that happened at practice today, I just want to quickly go over it. I'm going to do a full recap at some point when we get on another live stream. I've been having a lot going on personally, so I haven't had a chance to actually just sit down and stream. But there were some interesting things that took place today in practice, such as running back Jaden Blue getting his first good burn with the first team unit today. So Jaden Blue practicing with the first team today, maybe signifying a little bit of roster movement, maybe a little bit of depth chart movement. We'll keep an eye on that. Jaden Blue's been having a strong training camp period after a slow start in the spring. Something else, Jay Toye is getting a good bit of first team work in today's practice. The fact that he can move so well at that size is terrifying. The rookie is making the starting O-line earn their money. So Jay Toye is starting to move up the depth chart as well. So those are two guys that I think that those are probably the biggest revelations from practice today. Yeah, we had some highlights and different stuff like that, but as far as guys working with the first team and kind of moving up the depth chart a little bit, maybe these type of things are signifiers of just that. But the biggest draw from today's practice was Shotty having to employ a little bit of discipline. And let me know down in the comments below, how do y'all feel about this? Do you think this is a good sign for the team? Do you think this is what we need? Or do you think this is a bad sign? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the next one. Them Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Hey! I'm still them boys.